from a neutral corner, your host, the undefeated world's heavyweight champion, Rocky Marciano, sparring with the king of pantomime, that man mountain, Zero Mostel.
And my guest, Zero Mostel, a man I've had more off-scene meetings with than most comedians and lovers.
Yeah, Rocky means that we used to meet very often at the site of your training and the gross singers. And we'd get rid of our sour cream poisoning by meeting backstage and talking over about his fight. He was always in marvelous shape, Rocky, weren't you?
I've always wanted to find out from Zero about the business of acting, about theater, about movies, because I've seen you in a few movies. But all you ever wanted to talk about was fights.
Yes, I love to talk about fights. I always had a great time with fighters. I remember Tony Canzaneri, whom I love, may he rest in peace. I used to get a history of boxing. He was quite a student of boxing. He knew everyone's record, who ever lived. And I said to him, how did you beat a guy like Chocolate? He says, oh, yeah. He says, he was tough. He had a little head, little shoulders, and little stomach. There was nowhere to hit him. So I said, how'd you beat him? He says, I hit him in the little head, and I hit him in the little stomach. I hit him in the little shoulders, and I beat him. He was wonderful.
See, I'd like to digress. I'd like to just tell the audience what a great pantomime actor you are. I know you're referred to as the second chaplain, and we all know what you've done in this new play.
There's nothing wrong with the first chaplain, I'll tell you. He was good, too. You know, the pantomime, by the way, has a great deal to do with boxing. Has the same problem. You know, actually, it's a pantomimic kind of struggle when you fight. What you do is you feint your opponent out, you use pantomime, you look to the side, you hit him then. Pantomime is the same thing. Pantomime is a sly thing. You know, we once did, with that great actor Sam Jaffe, a pantomimic thing of a method actor, boxing, you know. A method actor is a type of actor who has a history of his character written. He wants to know where his father and mother is. Even though it's not in the play, he wants to know who his relatives were, how he felt at this time, why he hates the person he does. So therefore, it's very involved in himself. I have a great idea. Let's you and I do the method fighters. Come on. And remember, we think our parts. We just don't hit anybody. We think, why are we hitting? What is the result of the blow? What will happen? Let's go. That'll settle pantomime for all time. By the way, Rocky, how's your lovely wife and child?
Just fine. How's your two kids?
My kids, my two kids have grown to years. Joshua, who is 14, is 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, and he just leans on me or gives me a little chop like this, and I can't move my arm for it.
A prospect.
You know, the most wonderful thing about my children was said by my wife. When she was once yelling at my little kid, when he was a little boy, Joshua, and she said to him something. He said, I'm leaving home, and I'm never coming back, and goodbye. And she said, no, you stay, I go. Great. And it's true, looking at me dead in the eye. And Tobias, the little one, is a maniac. He is in love with wildlife. We have rock python. I'm sitting reading the paper, and there's a lake behind me. Fat. It's getting fatter all the time. Scary to live there.
There's the bell for the main event, a welterweight battle between Tony Gennaro and Rocky Graziano. We'll see Rocky show us the stuff champions are made of as he defends himself from a ring-wise Tony Gennaro. Madison Square Garden, 1950. Let me tell you about it as I saw it. Z, what do you think of the fight so far?
I want to ask you a question. Gennaro looks much lighter than Graziano.
Right. Tony's a legitimate welterweight, and Graziano really is a middleweight.
Well, he's putting up a great fight, considering the difference in weight.
Yes, he is, and there's a lot more to come. See, at this fight, here's two real good friends. In fact, they did road work together in the morning in preparing for this fight. They had a hard fight. It was close. Tony Gennaro was real good.
Well, great fights, I thought. I thought, you know, for a knockout artist, how wonderfully Gennaro handled him. I think he took punishment, Gennaro, but I think that he handled it very great. But in keeping with your point, I think the result of your thinking would be, I'm going to go out and beat up all my friends.
It was a great fight, and I know the crowd will love it.
It was the classic example between the boxer and the fighter.
And the puncher, right.
And the puncher.
Exactly right.
Oh, that's marvelous. Wonderful. My kids will love that. It's just wonderful.
And our main event, Gypsy Rose Lee. Hi, Gypsy.
Hello. I think it's wonderful of you to invite me on your show. Very perceptive of you, too. Because most people don't think of me as a sportswoman at all.
Why,
and I really am.
I heard you were a very, very good sportswoman.
Oh, indeed I am. I'm a spectator, of course, but an excellent spectator. I'm a spectator. As a matter of fact, you know, we really have a lot in common. We really and truly do. Well, our businesses, you know, you as a fighter and me as an entertainer. Analyze it. Just try to figure it out. We both play to large audiences. We both work in a minimum of clothing.
Right.
And we neither of us dance.
No, that's for sure.
And then there are probably other things, too, if we wanted to get into it, you know. I've seen several prize fights.
Oh, have you really?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I saw a prize fight with, when I was a little girl, with Tiger Flowers.
Wow, he was real good.
Was he?
Real good.
Well, I didn't really know. The only reason I went to go is because I thought it was a stripteaser. Name
Flowers,
like that.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen Slapsy Maxie.
Oh, sure. How about the big guy, Max Baer?
I worked in the bill with him.
Did you really?
As an actor, I don't think that we were boxing together, but he was working for Billy Rose, about 1931, I think that was, at the Casino de Paris.
Uh-huh.
And I worked with him.
Would you consider him a real handsome man? Now, not a fighter. I'm talking about as a man. Would you consider him handsome?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Wouldn't you think so?
Yes, we consider him one of the best-looking fighters that ever stepped in the ring. Of course, he had the most marvelous built. They call it the ideal built of a heavyweight. But I just wondered if a woman thought he was handsome.
Oh, indeed they did. They built the entire finale around him.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he was standing on a big pedestal in tighter pants than they usually box in. I don't know why they wear those baggy ones. And we were all lying on the floor, as I recall, gazing up at him. Terribly uncomfortable position. But it wasn't too unpleasant gazing at him. I thought he was terribly attractive. And a good sense of humor. And lots of fun. A nice man to know.
I'm real interested in how you keep in such fine physical condition. Now, do you
that's such a sweet thing
no,
to say.
No, really.
And, I could ask the same thing about you.
Well, it's quite a little heavy right now.
Oh, no, I've been admiring. Is that all you, or is that the suit?
Did you ever do any, like, yogi or any special, you know, that exercise of all the actors and actresses use? Yogi, is it?
Oh, no, nothing like that. Those things develop muscles in the wrong places.
Gypsy, you don't have the muscles. You must have some form of protection, maybe a muscle man or two.
Or two.
I know Mae West had about 3 bodyguards at all times, and all former fighters.
What, are you applying for the job?
No,
Rocky?
but I was just wondering if you would at any time ever have a bodyguard to protect you from, you know, the younger fellows who...
Oh, I protect myself. Just look at that. Look at that.
Wow. That isn't bad at all.
Look at those hands. Look at the size of those hands. They're all scratched up, too. Goodness. I thought you wore those gloves to keep you from getting scratched. Or did you get these scratches somewhere else?
No. It's through the gloves. This one here was in my 5th professional fight.
Really?
And I've never, ever had it fixed.
Well, of course not. You wear it like a badge of honor. Why have it fixed?
Right. You know, in the olden days, they used to wear a cauliflower ear as a badge of honor.
I don't like that.
No?
No, I really don't. I think your ears are much cuter than that.
Here's the bell for the main event. One of my own brawls with the greatest England had. It was my 5th time I defended the crown at Kezar Stadium, San Francisco, 1955. Let me tell you about it as I fought it. What do you think of the fight so far?
Oh, Rocky, you're picking on him.
No, he was a real good fighter.
I don't know why he wears those baggy pants.
In this fight, I hadn't fought for a year, and I was real rusty. One good thing about it, it got me in shape for the most important fight, the Archie Moore fight, which I fought about 4 months after this one here. He was just a tough guy for me to fight.
You mean this fight was just a rehearsal?
No, not really. But it did put me in shape for the most important fight, the one 3 months later, and I really did well there.
Now, what are you going to get sore about so you can get in shape again? Huh?
It's too far away.
Joking. I'm just joking. Oh, Rocky, I adore it. Thank you, darling. Oh, it's so precious. I just love it. I want the box, too.
And my guest, a personal friend of mine, Tony Bennett, a fellow that really made it on his own. He started in the small clubs, worked there for quite a while, and became a real big main eventer on his own. Tony Bennett. Hiya, Tone. Good, fine. Tone, would you show the people how you stand in a nightclub just before you start singing?
Well, there are many people that have said to me many times that I remind them of a fighter when I perform. And I guess it was just, working with small bands when I first started in nightclubs. I'd have to punch my story over, and a lot of times I finish the song with throwing the right jab.
Tone, do you really get nervous before you go out in the audience? I mean, now.
Well, I kind of pray for getting just enough tension and getting nervous enough so that I hope I do the right kind of show for an audience. I warm up and try and rehearse as much as possible in the afternoon before I get to the engagement at night.
Tony, what do you do when you get a heckler in the crowd? Someone that gets on your back?
Well, I usually let the audience take care of them. I usually do my performance, and if there is one heckler and the rest of the audience is enjoying it, they eventually come up with a line that'll squelch the heckler.
Tony, being that you're a stand-up singer, why don't we sit down?
Okay.
Tony, I got to ask you one question.
What is it?
Your favorite number. Do you have one?
Well, yes, it's actually the first recording I made, Because of You.
Oh,
In fact, to this day, this is I recorded it 10 years ago. I still get more requests for that song than any other song I've recorded. There was one thing that I saw in a fight, the Ingemar Johansson fight with Patterson. He was sitting over on the left-hand side of us, and it was pretty amazing because it was that famous punch where the punch came so fast that no one saw it. And you were the first guy to jump up in the stadium. You actually saw it before anybody.
Tony, I was bobbing and weaving throughout that fight. When I go to a fight, fellas sitting on either side of me just move, because I watch a fight pretty close, and I still got the habit of watching every move and trying to get the reaction of the fighter. And I really did see it coming. He was setting him up with that lazy left hand.
Mm-hmm.
And when he saw the opening, he shot that right hand. It was one of those straight ones.
Yeah.
And as soon as it hit, I knew it had to do damage. I didn't realize it was so strong, and Patterson just went backwards. But I knew that he'd be hurt in that punch, and I remember standing up before anybody else.
Yes, I'd imagine that has a lot to do with just living with fighting, and actually, the same thing happens to me with singing. I could see someone like Nat Cole or Sinatra and watch them walk down the steps of the Copacabana on an opening night and more or less tell if they're going to do a good show or not by their attitude.
You probably get the feeling of the crowd, too, don't you?
Yes, the spirit and the excitement of what's going to happen.
Tony, this is my big chance. No one's going to stop me. I'm going to sing a song, and maybe you can put me in some spot, nightclub or something.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me if I got any potential.
Okay.
Ella lula mezzumara mamma mia bagirare.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't know how you'll go in this country, but in Italy you'll be a smash.
There's the bell for the main event, one of my own fights. I had the crown, and I'm going to defend it for the third time with a real tough opponent, Ezra Charles. Polo Grounds, 1954. Let me tell you about it as I fought it. One of my roughest fights. He really was great this night. He gave me everything he had, and I had to come on real strong. I just couldn't get that one clean punch, and Charles, a clever fighter that he was, just was smart enough to keep me at a distance.
Well, I could tell you as a fight fan, I know it must have been real tough on you, but that's the kind of fight that I love, because you see both fighters, really giving their all. Well, this is one thing I'm going to cherish as long as I live. Thank you very much, Roger.
Pleasure, Tom. The bigger they are, the nicer they are. And you can make it as easy as they did. Just remember, keep your left hand high, chin down, and keep punching.